Hi, I'm Jackie. I'm an Arizona realtor and have built a multi-million-dollar business with my husband by using what I learned from being a teacher. Now I'm bringing the steps I took to leave the classroom and become a top producing agent and team owner. So grab your coffee, cherry vanilla Coke, or maybe even a cocktail, and let's begin. Hello, friends. How are you? I hope that you are having an awesome day. You know, it's always a good time to be back and creating some content that's really going to be helpful. And I'm excited about today's episode because I feel like it's something that's not talked about enough in our industry. I feel like it's something that we really need to make sure that we're not just sweeping under the rug because it happens. And what I'm going to talk about is, what do you do when times are slow? Now, when I say slow, I mean like the market changes and you have to learn how to now work in a different market. Or maybe it's just that time of year. Every single place has different slow times. For example, in my home state in Arizona, the hot summer months, so like July, well, not really so much July, maybe August, September, those are really slow. Some of July is slow. And the reason why is because it's so hot. Nobody wants to be in their cars driving around 120 degrees, getting out of the car, being outside, looking around, possibly going in a vacant home that may or may not still have their air up high enough so that way it's actually cool. It's just not fun, right? Okay. So I know that those are times that I'm not very busy. So what I have to do is twofold. One, I have to maintain a level of business that I'm accustomed to so that way I can pay my bills. But I also need to make sure that I'm using the time effectively. You know, there's an amount of budgeting that has to come in place. So anyhow, I came across this amazing blog that talked about 10 ways to kind of maintain productivity during your downtime. And some of it was really good stuff. Like sometimes you read stuff and you're like, I don't know if that's really true or not. But some of the stuff was really good. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of it and then also kind of put my spin on it. So in this article, they talk about 10 different things. I don't know that I'm going to talk about all of them, but I am going to give my 2 cents on them. So one of the first things is conducting a personal annual review. Now, in the teacher's world, one of the things that I remember doing, especially early on in my career, is like after a lesson, after someone came and observed me, I had to do a reflection. I'm sure no matter where you're teaching, that is one of the things that we do. And the reason why we do that is because, one, it's in the beginning of our mind, like it's right there in the front. Okay, we're kind of reviewing that lesson, like, you know, was everyone engaged? Did people look like they were learning? You know, was this something that I would want to do, or what changes can I make? So conducting a personal annual review during downtime in your real estate business, I think that is super important. And the one thing is, that's a time when you can really concentrate on what worked well. What part of this do I like? And then also, where do I need to make changes? So do I think that you should have an annual review? Yes. But I would also encourage you maybe not to do it like one time a year. I would do it every month. Just to kind of like keep everything fresh. And then maybe during that downtime, you kind of take a peek at what each month, what your review was. And now you make an actual plan for the next year. So that's my little bit of spin on it. Okay. One of the other suggestions that this article gives is to read. And yes, you should be reading. You should be reading lots and lots of books about business. You should be reading blogs, whether it's books, magazines, articles, blogs, whatever it is. I could give you a whole list of stuff that I read. But really, you need to find the thing that works best for you. I like motivational books. I do like how-to books, but motivational books are really good for me. So I've been reading a lot from an author named Jenny Allen. I'm reading right now. It's called Find Your People, and it's building deep community in a lonely world. So in real estate, it gets really easy to just say, okay, I'm really concerned with making money. Or, you know, my happiness is tied to my commission. And guys, that's horrible. Because what you're going to find is that you're in a very lonely world. So you really need to create those relationships. So I'm just in the beginning of the book, and I'll have to give you my 2 cents later on. But yes, reading is extremely important. And if you're not sure what to read, ask some really successful agents either in your office or in your brokerage or even on social media and just say, hey, What's everybody reading that's really helped them like either hone in their business or take their business to the next level or whatever it is, but just make sure you're doing that. Here's another thing that he talked about in this article was reviewing your project list. Okay. So I'm one of those people and I really like gravitate towards shiny objects. Like if I see something that someone else does, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Yes, I want to incorporate that into my business. And instead of creating a plan for it, I just go ahead and dive right in. Yeah, that's part of my personality. And I think even as teachers, we do that. Like, I can remember like being on Twitter or on Instagram, I guess and like people would show like what their classroom looked like or how they were setting up their room. And instead of like saying, ooh, I'm going to make this list of stuff that I want to do for my next year classroom, I'll just go ahead and start the overhaul right then, right? And then what happens? I'm more concerned with the aesthetics of my room than what really matters. And so I really like this idea of just kind of reviewing the list. Like, what are things that you want to incorporate in your business? If you're still in the classroom and you're doing both, what are some things you want to incorporate in your classroom? Maybe it's systems. Maybe you need better systems, maybe better grading systems, maybe better substitute systems. I can remember sometimes I would be on amazing teams with other teachers. And if I happened to be out and it was like an unexpected absence, they were great at like just pulling some lesson plans for me because guys, if it's unexpected, like we're really sick, right? Like we don't have time to like go make lesson plans, figure out our schedule, do all that stuff. Like, no, not going to happen. Same thing with real estate. You may want to get into a new niche or you may want to get into a neighborhood. You really need to create those lists. If not, you're going to be chasing your tail and you're not going to be able to see at the end of the year what was actually productive, what had like produced actual revenue and what had a higher conversion rate on your leads and stuff. The other thing that he talks about is getting to learn to maintain an inbox of 0. Yes, you've got to figure out how to get things done. I think this was probably like my hardest thing because I would sit around and like watch other real estate agents or like I'd get in my car and like I'd drive around and like see, like try to figure out like the different neighborhoods because, you're kind of expected to know every single neighborhood, right? Like, oh, what's the name of this neighborhood? Or, what's in this area? Or what are these new constructions coming out? Because it's not like you can just Google new constructions in my area because they're not all going to pop up. So like there is some learning to do, but one of the things I really had to work on was making sure, I'm not going to say necessarily that my email box was always with 0 things because that would be really unrealistic, but making sure that I had organized and prioritized my email. I needed to make sure that things that were important were taken care of. Things that were maybe like I really shouldn't be getting this email, then unsubscribing to those things. So that way it wasn't taking my time because every single time your phone dings, to tell you that you have, a new notification, you have a new email, someone liked your post on Instagram or whatever it is, it can take you away from what you're working on. So it's really a distraction. Now, sorry, I had to get a drink. All right. So the next one that he suggests is creating an annual budget. Guys, this is so important because as your business continues to grow, you're going to have to really know what your budget is, okay? Because you're making more money. You need to ensure that you are paying yourself a salary of what you need to be able to live on for that month. And then everything else, keep it in reserves. That was probably one of the biggest challenges going into a commission-based job because I'd never done that. So it's like, if I had a really great month and let's say, I closed, $2 million in production, that could be about $60,000 in 1 month that I was making. Now, that's a lot of money for a teacher. So like the problem was, and that's kind of a bad example, but anyhow, like if I made $60,000 in 1 month, then in my mind, okay, every month I can make $60,000. And what happens is you start not being on a budget at all. It's just, oh, I have this money, so I'm going to spend it. Well, what happens when you don't have that money? Because remember, I told you there's going to be downtimes. Now, one of the things that we've done is, as a family, we like to enjoy taking family vacations. Okay. When I was a teacher, it was super easy, right? School's out at the end of the May, maybe in June if there's snow, and then you don't go back to school until like the first week of August. Okay. So there was like 8 full weeks that I had that I could do whatever I wanted to do. No papers to grade, no phone calls, no emails to answer, no lesson plans to write, like none of that stuff, right? In real estate, you don't really have those breaks, okay? But like I said, you do have downtime. There's times when your business is a little slower. So knowing that means I'm going to take a break during that time. I'm going to schedule my vacation. Now, I will tell you this, and someone told me this one time. I was like, man, I'm really slow. And they said, plan a vacation. And I'm like, what does that mean? They were like, plan a vacation. So it did 2 things. 1, I went on vacation, but 2, my business popped up. So it never fails. The moment you go on vacation, that's when you start getting busy again. So it'll have 2 things. But seriously, guys, make sure that you are taking breaks. And it can be extremely hard to do that. 1, because you're super excited because you're a business owner and you're owning your business. But if you don't, you're going to end up burnt out. You're going to be tired of it, and you're going to be one of those people that is like, you know what? Yeah, I used to sell real estate, but I don't anymore. Another thing is when you have those downtimes, check out what your goal was for the year and kind of prorate that goal and see where you are. Have you already met the goal? So are you being too conservative? That's the one thing, okay? And I will tell you this, and my partner told me this all the time. Quit thinking so damn small. You are not a small person. Well, actually, I am a small person, but you are meant for big things. And so if you are, using that downtime in your business to kind of review what your goals were for the year and where you are in regards to meeting those goals, you need to think to yourself, have I already met it? Well, then my goal was too damn small. Okay. If I haven't met it, why? Why haven't I met my goal or where I should be based on what my goal was for the full year? Okay. Am I putting my focus on the wrong spot? Which a lot of people do. You put your focus on your content shoots and the pictures and the reels and the this and that and that. Well, that's great. And guess what? It is important. Okay. However, it's not going to make you money. What's going to make you money is actually building relationships with people and, generating leads, working those leads, converting those leads, doing the tough work, right? So make sure that you're taking that downtime to really kind of look at that. Also, do something, okay? Those some things that you always say, oh, it's never the right time for. When you have a break, that's a great time to do those somethings, okay? Also, rebuild your work environment. Where do you do your work? What materials do you have? What is old? What could you get rid of? What are just stuff that needs to get out of your office? That's a great thing, okay? I used to always do that. But my favorite thing on this list, and I'm so glad that it was on here, is give back, okay? A lot of people who are entrepreneurs are very generous. They're generous with their heart. They're generous with their spirit. They're generous with their talent. They're generous with their ability or their influence. There's a lot of people in real estate that have really kind of become like famous people. Like, it's kind of crazy. And the thing that I love about so many of them is the influence that they put on the importance of giving back to your community. You can go on mission trips to Africa. You can go to all these different places. And that's wonderful. And I congratulate you on doing those things. However, the word says your biggest mission is to the person across the street. So, you may not have time to go on those mission trips. You may not have time to, do those things. But did you have time to maybe, pick up litter all around, the road, or in your neighborhood? Did you organize a coat drive? Did you volunteer at a soup kitchen? Those are things that you can do to give back, because guess what? You're gonna have downtime. Guys, real estate's not easy. It really isn't. And I sometimes get a little upset because I feel like the industry in general, okay, and media, I blame the media on it, they make it look like it's so easy. And I feel like what that does is it gives this false pretense that if it's not easy for me, then I'm not good at it or I'm failing at it. Well, guess what? It's not. It's not the case. There's lots of different contributing factors. Think about maybe like that first year that you taught, or maybe now this is your really tough year of teaching. There are other influences outside of our scope that can contribute to how well our students learn in the classroom. If you have students in your classroom that English is their second language, they are very new to the country, guys, they have a lot of stuff going on. And they may not regain and retain every single thing that you teach them. And that's okay. Give yourself grace. You may have students in your classroom that didn't get breakfast today. They don't know where they're going to sleep tonight. They don't feel safe in their home. They're suffering from some type of abuse or neglect. That is outside of our control. There may be information that you teach this week that just goes right over their head. That is okay. Give yourself grace. Because guess what? The biggest job of a teacher is creating a safe environment for the students that walk in our door every single day. We want to be their advocate. We want to be their biggest cheerleader. And we want to give them the hope that no matter what they're going through, you've always got me. Always. We do the exact same thing in real estate though. Okay? We can't control the market. We can't control how many houses are available. We sure as hell can't control the rates on the mortgages. Okay? All we can do is be experts at our field, learn as much as we can, lean on the people who have done and been so successful that are willing to pour into us. And guess what? Give ourselves a little bit of grace and be the very best real estate agent, showing the highest level of professionalism to the people who choose to use us as their agent. Guys, if you are thinking about a switch to real estate, I would love to support you. I would love to bring you into our collective group of agents. We have partners in multiple states, and through our coaching and our training and our support, they're leaving the classroom. They're going full time. But maybe that's not your goal. That's fine. Guess what? I help part-time agents too. I'll help you supplement your income, save for your future. Whatever your goals are, I'm going to want to help you to reach those. Let's connect. Let's chat on ways that I can help you reach your goals. Going into real estate can seem scary. Starting something new can be a challenge, but you keep the attention of 24 to 32 children a day for 7 hours. You maintain peace in a sea of hormones and body odor. You can do this, and I'm here to help. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Jackie Durbin AZ and at Teachers in Real Estate. Also, like, share, and rate this podcast. And if you need help or you have state-specific questions, reach out to me and I'll gladly help. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next time.